Good afternoon, and welcome to the Wednesday afternoon conference call with Trusts Unlimited. This is Jim George speaking. I'm the non-attorney spokesman and facilitator for Trusts Unlimited, and I'd like to thank all of you for taking the time to listen to this call this afternoon. This call is going to be truncated this morning or this week. I am scheduled to participate in a conference call that is beginning in 1 minute. Much of the information that I get, that I share with you, I receive through encrypted emails and other methods, but on occasion I have an opportunity to listen into important conference calls around the world, and these calls are not recorded, so I'm going to want to get into that call primarily to get information that I'm going to be able to share with you during the week and, at the latest by next Wednesday. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through a little bit about what's happening in Iraq, and I'm not going to get into the particulars of the program we've put in place to assist you. Those of you that are calling in for the first time and listening to the replay, I'm going to strongly suggest you go either to YouTube or to IQD calls and listen to our last call of May 27th. That call will have all of the information about the program we've put in place to assist you. Very shortly, just let me say that by getting your affairs in order, and we discussed that in detail, you're going to preserve your privacy and your anonymity, you're going to protect your assets from civil suit, and you're probably going to enjoy some very lucrative tax benefits, again, by following through on the things that we will be suggesting on that call. So I strongly suggest you go there. So let's go ahead and get right into the situation in Iraq. There's a lot going on. Things are moving in the right direction. We are still looking at the reinstitution of the dinar in the next 30 to 45 days. The new government, the Al-Kazemi government, is in the process of getting their cabinet in place. There are still about a half a dozen ministers that have not been approved as yet, although we're told that there is agreement on the confirmation of the balance of the ministry, a cabinet of ministers. That's very important. Kuwait and Iraq are having talks with regard to extending time for the repayment of funds to Kuwait. A lot of Western European nations are also talking with Iraq in anticipation of the new government and resolving some of the issues in country. The United States and Iraq are involved in a number of discussions for a number of reasons, some having to do with corrupt officials, some having to do with Iranian influence, which is fortunately waning, some of it having to do with U.S. military forces and private contractors in the country, and agreements with regard to the rebuilding of their infrastructure. The CBI has announced that they want to release information with regard to the final deletion, the project for the deletion of the zeros, as early as this week. The Parliament may pass their 2020 budget as early as next week. Now, there is, of course, a budget shortfall due to a couple of things. One, the substantial reduction in the auctions, and also the reduction in the price of a barrel of oil. And, of course, the immediate short-term issue is the payment of salaries for government employees. One of their options was to print additional currency and to reduce the value of the dinar. That looks like it's being set to the side. It looks as though they're going to opt for utilizing the CBI reserves and some international loans that they're presently negotiating. So the only outstanding thing that remains is to continue to mitigate against the corruption within the country so they can proceed forward. Obviously, the corrupt officials, for a number of reasons, are dragging their feet. They're making money by skimming through the auctions. They're being bribed by the Iranians. And, of course, when everything is resolved and the government is fully in place and all of these other issues are resolved, their concern is the accountability and justice law is looming large. So these individuals obviously doing everything they can to drag their feet. It's kind of funny. It's sort of like what's happening in this country, where we're beginning to get to the bottom of what happened with regard to the Trump-Russia collusion thing. And, of course, the guilty parties are doing everything they can to drag their feet. So it seems to be the plague of humanity that this is going on just about everywhere. Now, as I said, I'm not going to be able to get into the program we've put into place. However, I strongly suggest that you go to our call of May 27th. It looks as though the institution of the Iraqi dinar is moving along at a good pace. And as I said, that 30 to 45-day window is still there. One other point I'd like to mention before I sign off, a number of individuals have contacted us, and we have not been able to call them back. We're running close to 100 calls a day now, and we're doing the best we can to return those calls. Some of those calls are existing clients that have service issues. The vast majority are individuals that want our initial package or have questions about it. I will probably be on the phone 10 hours a day, 7 days a week to assist you, and I promise you that we will get to you. So your patience would be appreciated. We understand the time frame that's involved, and we're moving as quickly as we possibly can to assist all of you. So again, our next call will be next Wednesday, noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific. And lastly, for those of you that have not as yet got your affairs in order, do not understand the program Trust Unlimited has put in place, please go to YouTube or IQD calls and pick up our call from last Wednesday, May 27th. Thanks very much for listening, and I look forward to sharing with you the information that I gleaned today from our conference call. Bye-bye, and have a great week, everyone.